Good day, everyone. Chris Kaler here from Chris Kaler Holistic, True Quantum Healing. Unless you live under a rock or on another planet, you may have noticed that energies on this planet with humanity are changing exponentially. You look at the Schumann resonance that gets talked about all the time. You can feel it around you. I see it big time within my work. So, with these changing energies leading up to an ascension, we need to have tools and products that are going to help us get to the next level after what's going on within and around us on an energy level. So, what we have here, we got some new pyramids, and the creator of these pyramids, Wayne Gaydos, is here to help explain exactly how these pyramids are going to work for you. You also have some other products that are going to be very much influential in energy work. So, everybody, please welcome Wayne Gaydos.
Well, thank you, Chris, and real pleasure to be here and finally get back together again. It's been such
Finally.
a long time. We've been trying, but all in its right time. So we've got some new upgrades to the triple. The triple is we'll start with the fact that it's the best delivery system for what we have, and what we have is programmed shungite, and then you require a delivery system, or you can just wear the shungite. So what I've done is I've focused for about the last 4 or 5 years now on the programming. And the way to look at it is the programming is like the intelligence, the pyramid and lights and what have you. They're all the engine, but the engine needs to have a program. And if you want to get to A to B, you need to have direction. So what I've been doing for 4 or 5 years is taking each element, and I'm using Walter Russell as my master teacher, and he says there are 64 elements, which I have a reality on. So what I've been doing is taking each element up to the 12th octave of purity. Now, I started, when we brought up the triple, we started to the 9th octave, knowing that it was not the ultimate, because there's actually 15 octaves in creation. But the one that is relative to our body and template is actually the 12th octave. So we need to have purity, clarity, and connection to the 12th octave. So an easy way to understand it is based on the premise, as above, so below. We're the below.
No doubt.
We're the below. Now, what we want to do is bring heaven to earth, which is the above. And that's essentially our purpose, is to bring heaven to earth. So if we're going to do that, I asked guidance a few years ago. I go, what is the best mechanic from my point of view? Because I'm a technical guy and others are not. So, but from a technical point of view, what's a way to achieve the bringing heaven to earth? And essentially, that's an ascension program. Now, each element is on the first octave, and therefore it has to be on the 12th octave, as above, so below. Now, the difference is the resonance. If it's zinc on the first octave, and it's got the frequency of zinc. Now, if you go to the 12th octave, the frequency is much, much, much higher. So things that would normally in our body be toxic to us because they're vibrating at the first octave, they need to be raised up and clarified. So what I like to do is start with an element, say zinc, and you feel your first octave of zinc, and then I do it by actually raising my hand. The low bar is first octave, and I feel myself go up to the second octave, and I can feel the zinc is vibrating higher. If I go to third octave, it's higher, and so on. So when I get to the 12th octave, Now I'm reaching the source of the template for the human being, which includes zinc, along with all of the other 63 elements. So if we can make those elements be consciously operating at the first octave, I can bring that here vibrationally. So that's the goal, is bring all the elements to the 12th octave pure. So when I go to the second octave zinc and I do a scan at that octave and I ask for purity, I get a number. And it's never been 10 out of 10.
Okay.
So as far as I know, everybody has the same issue. You have zinc and you have 12 octaves of it, and none of them are pure. Now, one thing I learned right away was, being energy sensitive, is I can feel the difference as I go up the scale. Now, when I did arsenic, what I noticed is that the first octave, pure or not pure, was toxic. So if I go to the fourth octave and I clean it up, so it's 10 out of 10 pure, it's still toxic, nowhere near the same degree. And I go, well, I'm learning something here. Let's go to the eighth octave, one step at a time. Well, the eighth octave starts to feel pure
Okay.
and non-toxic. So once I make it pure and non-toxic, then I feel comfortable with it at the eighth octave. Would I consume some or download it in my body? No, I won't. But when I hit the ninth octave, the answer was yes, I would. And then I feel the result. And for some reason, guidance steered me towards the immune system. And it felt like I cracked it wide open. Wow, this 10th octaves, 9, 10, 11, 12th octaves of arsenic actually feels better. And when I hit 12, I like it. I love it. And it feels like it's made my immune system bulletproof. And I go, that's a serious find. So each element operates more effectively to do what it came to do. And each element has a wisdom. So the next thing I found out, um, cadmium
Okay.
is toxic. But if you take the cadmium to the 12th octave, it's not toxic. And in fact, each of these 64 elements, according to Walter Russell, has a wisdom. And the wisdom of cadmium is the ability to receive love. Well, once I found that out, let's do cadmium. So we go up to cadmium, and the first thing I acknowledged was, yeah, I feel loved. It changes you. Now, why is that? Because now you have cadmium as a part of your beingness that is resonating in clarity and purity and at the 12th octave, which means it's right next to source. Because source comes as light on the 13th octave. So everything comes from that light. Now, if we go higher than that, there's an understanding of what's called the monad. And the monad is source. If you do Gnosticism or
Right.
any other Rosicrucian, they're all talking about connecting with source. And that source is referred to as the monad. So I went up and I go, let's have a look at the human template at the 12th octave. Well, the first sense was that it feels really good. And after sitting with it for a little bit, I realized that there's some niggle here. There's something I don't like about it. So I thought, well, let's download the Adam Cadmon template. And I go, okay, well, that was an improvement, but I still have the niggle.
So that's cadmon, not cadmium.
Cadmon. It's called the Adam Cadmon. So if you
Okay.
do some religious research, there is the template that the Jewish use, and it's called Adam Kadmon, or the Hebrew.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
in the Bible, okay? In the Bible is Adam Kadmon. And they go, well, the Bible has a lot of Anunnaki influence, so I'm not just buying that. So I get up I go, I want the absolute perfect template. Well, that's not the Atom Catamon template. It's the Atomus template. And if I use the masculine, it's Atomus. If I use the feminine, it was the Sophia. So I call it the Atomus Sophia template. Now, in my mind, it comes from the 12th octave, it comes from the monad, and it's pure. Now, once it comes into the 12th octave, it can be adulterated. So I bring it in as a consciousness, not a specific program that can be adulterated. So if I'm feeling atomus, it's pure. I don't have to worry about it, but I have to be in 13th octave to do it. Most people hardly even know what I'm talking about, let alone resonate and find where the 12th and 13th octaves are. Now, that's why this program that I have, where you start with zinc on the first octave, then you feel it, then you go to the second and the third and the fourth. And as you keep going up in purity and clarity, you get a sense of what fourth octave zinc is.
And this is all programmed in the shungite, right?
Uh, Everything I'm saying is all programmed, and it's programmed either as a specific frequency or as a consciousness or both. Because I can give you a liver or any organ, and I can give you a number that gives you its frequency down to 9 decimal places. Now that's precise.
Sure.
And the universe likes precision. So if I give you um, a pancreas number, which I have, it's in the programming. So the pancreas is, I have a pancreas that is perfectly clear to my understanding. Now, if I find something else that I didn't see before, then that negates it. But for all intents and purposes, when I dose for something, if it isn't 10 out of 10, I don't go to the next octave until I got 10 out of 10.
Okay.
So that's my standard, because we don't want to put pretty good in to the template. We want to put perfect into the template. So if I'm going to become a fully ascended conscious being, my elements have to be pure and clear. Now, you start with whatever element you like, and then keep working it until you get that clarity. So let's say I'm starting at 2 on zinc, and then I douse, I give it a scale of 10. What is the purity? It's a 2. Okay, so that means there's 80% of it needs clearing. So then I figure out a program to bring it to clarity. Well, the color clear works. Okay, it works really good. A heart mind, and I didn't say heart, I said heart mind. So
Okay.
that means now, and we have heart mind on how many octaves? At least 13. So when you say, okay, I ask people to open your heart, I go, well, which octave are you on? And they look at me strange. And I go, well, there's levels of heart. Now, how relevant is that? Well, your heart's your motor of your body. Everything comes from the heart. It's most powerful organ you have. And if you want to heal something, the heart resonance helps you do that.
Yes.
So if you want to dump something negative, replace it with heart field. Now, if you replace it with a second octave heart, and then you compare that to a seventh octave heart, it's way more powerful up in 7. But you have to get there, and you can't resonate there because you bought a triple pyramid and you put it on your body and it worked. That's not how it works. You're going to go from the first octave at a lower vibrational level, and then you're going to receive it. And after maybe half an hour or 10 minutes, or it depends on the person, a period of time, then you're going to feel, I just shifted there. And you'll sense, well, what is that? That's me on the heart level, because that's my focus, on the next octave. And I can feel it in my auric field. So that's the program. keep going until you reach a 12th level of an element. And the pyramid already has that in it as a consciousness. So it's like you've got a tuning fork sitting next to you, and all you have to do is give it attention.
You have to
And
activate
then
it.
you got to activate it. Okay. So once you give it the attention, now you can actually um, do something about it because you're there. If you let the pyramid do its work, I'm just going to get rid of this
Sure,
phone.
sure, sure.
So when you give your attention to something, energy goes there. If it's a positive, then you get positive. So I want me to resonate at the highest heart level that I can, especially when I'm doing a healing on myself or anybody. So obviously, a fifth octave heart is better than a fourth octave heart. Okay, so that's the practice. That's the change. Today I'm resonating higher than I have before. Why? Because I pushed myself to the next level. And when we go up to the 13th octave, and the energy there is the highest that we're going to get because that's our source for the 12th octave. So we can't go any further than that. Otherwise, we go into the pure creation fields, and you're in a field of consciousness, not particularly a creation.
Okay.
So that's why we go to 12 and stop there. So where we're at now is that we've been using the elements as nucleotides that create the DNA. And the DNA is your antenna system. So if I have clear zinc in my DNA, in my CATG sequencing,
Right.
which by the way are at the 12th octave. So if you just feel a C and then you go up to the next octave, you go, yeah, it's there's something happened in my body. I just shifted my body. And when you do all four of them, and then you put them in coherence. So another thing that's added here is coherence, because you can put two things together and they aren't scalar coherent. If you want them to work more effectively, then you make them scalar coherent.
So they got to understand each other.
They have to connect with each other and resonate with each other, because you can frequency tune, but you also vibrationally tune and you resonant tune. And when you do all three, now you're rocking. If you just do frequency, I can knock you out with a frequency. But if I have a resonance to back it up, you can't knock out my frequency very easily.
Because you're accepting it.
You're accepting it and you're resonating to that. You're being that. So what we want is a template that has all of the 64 elements clear to the 12th octave.
Right.
Then you are a realized being. Because what you notice is that when you download that zinc, your energy field gets larger. Why? Because that zinc is an antenna. All the elements are antennas. Now, if it's resonating at the first octave instead of the 12th, it's a pretty tiny antenna, relatively speaking. When you're in your 12th chakra of consciousness, you're a giant being with a huge field, and you travel the universe, you travel creation. So, in order to get to that level, we have to purify. And what you're going to start with is purifying the elements. So, that's what I have done for about 5 years now.
Okay. Yeah.
With most of the elements, because you can spend days clearing one element. And I mean days, all day, not just a little 10 minutes here and there. When I'm talking, I spent 5 years, I'm talking hours per day. So there's an enormous amount of information that's in the shungite programming. So there's the easiest way to get it is all of this is programmed in my pendants now. So you can wear a pendant. And I need to express this as emphatically as possible. When you have, good guy, I got mine. When you have um, that much information downloaded in the shungite, I watched one lady and I handed her the shungite pendant and I told her what it was going to do. And she's going to get a download. And she was okay for about 15 seconds, not 15 minutes, 15 seconds. And then she looks at me with her eyes opening and goes, whoa. And I said, you're done. Okay. You cannot download literally thousands of improvements in 15 seconds. Not going to happen. So, can you OD? Yes,
Oh, yes.
absolutely. Absolutely. So, what's required is for you to have some sort of idea of when to quit. And your body will tell you. All you have to do is listen. So, I went to see her a short time afterwards and I said, so how are you doing with the pendant? She goes, it makes me anxious. And I said, how long are you wearing it for? She goes, well, I put it on when I come to work. And I go, well, you're fried by the time you get here. You can only take so much input. If your attention is there, you can take a lot more.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're doing other things, it's going to be like you had way too much coffee and really need to settle down.
I remember when I first went to Alberta to visit Bevan, which we don't talk about anymore. He sold me some of your 13-inch rings, some divinity rings. Well, of course, now I got to drive back, and I got these things beside me in the car. And by the end of the trip, my leg was aching.
Absolutely. Yes. See, that's an OD.
That's an
Your
OD.
body can only take so much input. It's typically like the sun. I love the sun. I would stay in it 24 hours a day if I could, but I can't. My body will blister, my face will be all red, and there are problems. And obviously, there's nothing wrong with the sun except the duration. The
Exactly.
same applies here. You're like wearing a sun. Well, how long are you going to wear that for? Well, as long as it checks. And that's not going to be the same every day. You may go for 4 days
Depending on
because
what
you
you need.
down and you need that break. So now, what do you do with that pendant while you're not using it? Well, you put it in a sun ring or a pyramid and you aim it at your food. So, what is the best way to receive all these upgrades? Through your food,
Food is our
now,
medicine.
which is now your medicine. And in case I forget, I'll address it now. I had the idea one day, could we improve the bouquet of the food? Because it does taste better when you charge it, there's no question. But let's target the idea of increasing the bouquet. Well, I had my juice drink 2 hours ago and I'm still salivating from it. The bouquet is unbelievable. You will come to the conclusion that I love eating way more than I used
Here's
to.
what I've done. I took a little tomato.
Yeah,
I'm not big on tomatoes in a sandwich. Yeah, they're great. But I put the little tomato in the sun ring for
yeah.
about 30 seconds. Then I ate it, and it tasted like an organic tomato. The flavor was really there.
When you have the latest bouquet program, which you don't, okay, it's fairly recent. But when you have that, it will be so different again. That's what prompted me to start with. Is we charge all our food with the sun ring, and it makes it taste better. Well, what if you really tarted that? And it turns out that it was a black and white improvement in the bouquet. Everything tastes so good. You invite somebody over for lunch or whatever, and the first thing they comment is, "Wow, does this ever taste good?" Do you know how many times I've heard this is the best pizza I've ever heard in my life, ever had in my life? Several, many. Why? Because it is. They can't go to Boston Pizza and get one like that.
No, no, no. So
The
so now
resident,
now we got the different programs in the shungite. Now with this new pyramid, you've got three lights instead of two. One's a violet. The new one is a violet.
yes. Um, Edgar Casey was a serious fan of the violet ray. And I go, I
Violet
have
flame.
violet flame. So I go, I'm into that. Let's try it. So I got some violet LEDs and I also got infrared LEDs. It increased the spectrum considerably. What's interesting is that we live in a matrix and a false reality. I also got the idea, let's go get the original unadulterated color of violet and red. And so that's what I did. So the colors are corrected. The energy of the triple pyramid now has several ways that it's been corrected and made coherent. So even though it looks the same, it's considerably better. And you'll notice on the last order you got a month or so ago that they were better.
Yeah, yes.
They feel smoother. They're just more life force in there, and it's a more calming, soothing thing.
Let me give you a quick example of what I'm noticing. I use this 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, eight people a day I work with
Okay,
energetically. So what I see all the time within my third eye is the lava lamp of colors. I see violet and yellow
okay,
all the time, violet and yellow, violet and so when you turn this thing on, there is a hue of yellow, and there's no yellow in here. But you
wow,
see a hue of yellow, and it's reflecting off of the gold, creating this yellow. So you see hues of violet and yellow
yeah,
harmonizing with my third eye. And it's like, wow, how perfect can you get?
yeah, yeah. It was one of those perks that you didn't plan for.
Exactly. A nice surprise.
Nice surprise.
So
Yeah,
so now let me add one more thing. So again,
sure.
when I'm doing my work, and everybody does their energy work differently. I use a set of charts, I do dowsing, and it directs me to what I need to do. So when I went to do the clearing, I hold the pyramid up to my camera or the phone, wherever I'm working with this person.
Yep.
And normally what I feel a drawing sensation. Like you got a fish on the line, and all of a sudden the fish gets off, and then you know the clearing is done. With this pyramid, it's like I got a whale. It pulls you in that much. It's that strong, and it works a lot quicker too. So my experience is the clearings are a lot more efficient, a lot better. And the consciousness of this thing to help my dowsing is you can really tell that there's a difference.
Yeah, yeah. I concur. There's been so many little tweaks. It just if I had to use a number, I would use 4,000. How many tweaks are in the pyramid as it stands today? There's probably 4,000 tweaks to your body that you're going to try and download in 1 minute. Yeah.
You better be
So,
ready for a nap when you're done that.
well, I also learned one other thing that I put in here that was, I thought, quite trick. Um, Spirit is all around me when I'm doing the programming. So I'm not doing this because my ego wants to do it. It's
Sure.
because I'm laid back and I go, where are we going next? What do we do? I'll throw out some options and it'll come back. This is what we're doing. So one day I'm listening to a video on YouTube and it was about autophagy. And a lot of people don't know what that is. It's the state you get in when you fasted for 12 to 14 hours. And then your body gets into a relax mode, and that is called autophagy. Now, there's two conditions: fight or flight, or relax. You cannot heal in fight or flight,
No.
okay? But you can in relax. You require it. And the video said some people go to old age and they never once got to autophagy. They never got to that relaxed mode. So their body is always given her to try and fix something. But if you let your body do the work and the energies do the work, you need to relax and get out of the equation. Then you're way more effective. So I went to a friend of mine who runs a health store, and I said, "You know what autophagy is?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I plugged in the triple and aimed it at him, and I says, "How long does it take?" And he goes, "That long." Yeah, and I had another lady, she's a dealer, and I did the same thing with her. And as soon as I turned it on, it didn't take her more than 5 seconds to say, it's making me tired. And I said, "No, it's making you relaxed
Well,
because you're
that's one of the biggest remarks I always get. When I do a clearing, I ask the person, how do they feel after that clearing? They say, I feel so relaxed.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Now, one other thing that's in there that for me is profound, it was one of the first things I put in the programming, actually. And that is, I had a medical doctor come here and I aimed it at her and I said, "What do you think?" And she goes, "Just a minute." She goes, my heart's way better." That was about maximum 60 seconds, maximum. And I says, "Well, what he put in there was a correction for the bifunctional echo." "Well, what is that?" She didn't even know. And I said, "Well, it is the echo that comes from your heart pumping, hitting a block along the way where your arteries divide, and then it sends an echo back to
Right.
your heart, and it becomes disruptive to your whole heart rhythm." So I canceled that out, and my heart just went, and now I got perfectly, way more perfect balanced um, fractals in my heart response. So that to me, I've seen so many times now, because with the pyramid's a few years old now, I've seen so many people comment on, "Wow, it really helps your heart." And it does. So that's a really big thing. So it kind of puts your heart into that autophagy state. And also in there is mitophagy, which I won't go down that rabbit hole. Mitophagy is for the mitochondria.
Okay.
Okay, now obviously we need mitochondria in good shape to be functioning long term. So that's in there. Also, one other major change was I learned about the production of ATP, because who do you know that isn't tired? Just about everybody could use, even if you're not tired, you could still use more energy. Well, that energy is dependent on your adrenals, heart, oxygen, and ATP production. And I go, "Well, I'm guided to do the ATP, so let's do it." So it turns out that NAC and then NMN and then NAD and then terrelenamine are the precursors for the NAD for the ATP. Well, imagine what they would be like, I thought, if they were at the 12th octave instead of the first.
Okay.
So that's what we did. We brought them all to the 12th octave, put them in coherence with each other, add a couple tweakers like sirtuins and sulfuranothane, onothane, sorry. So these seem to help the process. And then I bring the ATP up to the 12th and make it coherent. Now, I know how to measure just by feel what my level of energy is, ATP wise. I get up in the morning and I'm measuring, and I get usually between 6 and 7,000 most mornings. Okay, so I do that for a while. Then I came to the understanding that I need to do this ATP sequence. And so I did it. And the next morning I wake up, and before I get out of bed, before I move or start anything, I check. It's 14,000. The next morning was 15,000. I now get up, sometimes I'm 17, 18,000, and I haven't got out of bed yet. So is my energy level different? Black and white. Like there's no comparison. My wake ups, there's no comparison to what they were before I did that program. So if I had one thing to say, you will have more energy. How come? Well, because it's 2.5 times what my normal was. That's very noticeable. So I'm real proud of that one.
You know what? So am I, just because of the results you get when you use it. And that's what my work is all about, is results. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I'd be off running a printing press somewhere. But ultimately, this pyramid is making that big of a difference. All the tools in general are making that big of a difference, and it's helping people get to that next level. Number one of healing, but is the number one thing. That's where people want to be, is in a better state of health, get rid of health problems. Everybody's got something, and we
Yeah,
need this kind of stuff to help get us through there.
I'm going to put this on the table. Carl Jung said, it's not what you add, it's what you subtract. Okay, what does he mean by that? It means that you can have a clogged up zinc field, and as long as it stays clogged, you're going to only reach so high.
Sure.
But if you clear that, it's what you remove will allow you the expansion and freedom. Now, um, our DNA has been tampered with big time, our genetics. Okay. And one of the ways that it was tampered with was by compression. So you take that zinc, and unless you decompress it, it's compressed. So all of the elements that are in here are like the tuning fork that's vibrating at 12th octave decompressed. The difference between compressed, even though it may be pure, it's still compressed. And when I decompress it, and that's a talent that I can't get into, the average person is going to have a hard time with that one, especially at the higher levels, because you have to have the consciousness to manipulate subatomic particles. Not everybody is going to be able to do
Let
that.
me elaborate on compression a little bit. When you take a music file and you
Yeah.
compress it to fit in an MP3 file, you lose
It,
sound quality.
oh, big time.
So if you uncompress it, and you can do that on Spotify, I found out, is you can
Yeah,
have a lossless compression, no compression at all. All of a sudden, the music sounds fuller. So that's the same.
exactly. Now I'm going to just move this aside here one sec, and I'm going to show you. Um, right here. This is not working well. Sorry. What I have behind me is my stereo system. And when you decompress those elements, here we go, there's a triple pyramid sitting on a crystal ball. Okay. All of the audio is in that field now, my whole system. So all the consciousness that's in the programming, in the shungite, in the triple, is now coming through the audio. So if you're into audio, the availability is in the music now. So your DNA upgrades are coming through the music.
Through the octaves.
Yeah. And you can get all the octaves. So even though you don't recognize what the 10th octave of anything is, you're now feeling it. It's the vibrating, it's the fork vibrating to where you want to go. So even though you've never been there, it's going to take you there. So how many people have said, this is an amazing stereo? I go, it's an amazing audio experience. There are better stereos, but it's an amazing audio experience.
Right.
Yeah. And I love going to, when I do the tweaks to the shungite, I go to my truck, upload the system that's on in the truck, and I can tell right away that I've improved things because I can hear the difference. It's not a guess. I'm an audiophile, and I tweak her from a way back, and I can tell if there's a slight change. So there is when you put the triple pyramid on that crystal ball, the whole room is like vibrating differently. And it's a deep immersion into music. So people have never experienced that before. You can hear good music, you can hear clear music, but you've never heard the depth in the music like this. So I say it sounds better than new. If you were to have the band here, it would sound great. But if you run it through my system, it will be more effective because
You
you've
end up
got,
feeling it in your heart.
yeah, you feel the music way different. It reaches down into those deeper levels of the DNA and tweaks them because we are sound. Everything is sound. So that is,
Yeah,
um,
I can relate. I build my own loudspeakers. I do my own audiophile stuff. I have a $6,000 Arcam receiver that I use, and playing with Spotify and all the different programs, finding that lossless program is really big. And then you
yeah,
start adding the energy to it. My wife says, "What are you doing to your speakers?" I says, "I'm putting energy in them." She says, "Okay."
yes, yeah, yeah. Well, I would love to keep talking, but I think that that would be enough for today.
Absolutely. I mean, how much can a human absorb, right?
Exactly, and most people are already tired and yawning by now.
All right, so let's end it right there. Our guest today has been Wayne Gaydos, the developer of Crystalline Tools. I have all these tools on my website. Okay, go ahead, have a look, see what resonates with you. All is the neutralization rings. We got the new divinity spheres.
I would like to make one more comment. The key to a lot of this is obviously the intelligence. And then you need a way of receiving or delivering that intelligence. So here we have a single pyramid and we have a piece of shungite. That's your basic. Now, where did I start 40 years ago? With a pyramid and a crystal. But now I have uh, a program that comes from the shungite, and I can put anything I want in that program. And so can you. So if you want vitamin C, you hold the shungite, go to the spot of consciousness that gives you the best vitamin C on the planet, not an orange that you bought from the store. Okay, you can intuit anything you want. So pick the best there is for you. So now I've got this piece of shungite and I put it in the pyramid and I aim it at my food. Now that's the best delivery system for under $100. You've got a pyramid, you can put the shungite in to modulate it, and you can modulate a room, a stereo, their food, or directly on your body. Okay, so that's entrance level. If you go with the pyramid, or sorry, a pendant, then you can wear it for as long as it checks. Some people, I've actually had, I did a show and one person said, I can't feel this. No, you're not feeling that? I go, just a minute. So I grabbed two shungites and I put it in his back pocket, which then forms a triangulation
Sure.
with the pendant. And he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, I get it. I get it. And his wife is just howled laughing because she said, you need to do this. And he's resistive. So part of that resistance came out and he says, oh, no, I don't feel anything. And I go, just a minute. And those two extra shungites in his back pocket took him for a ride. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So to get going with this, all you need is one piece of programmed shungite. And we're talking like $30. Like how you can't buy a bottle of vitamins for that. So this stays with you forever. It's now your own personal program that you can add to all you like. And if you want, every few months, you can get another upgrade because the shungite, you buy just the program shungite. And then you charge your food, and now you're in business. You're going. Each day, you absorb food 3 times at least. So that's like a lot of pressure to move that frequency up and the vibration up. And I say this, if you don't get it in a week, most people who are sensitive are going to get it the first sip. That's how we tell in the morning. We take a sip of our juice and we know what we did that day. But if you don't feel what's happening in a week, I'll buy it back because you're never going to get it. Okay. Conversely, if I give this to you for a week and I come and pick it up, you're going to go, no way, Jose. One guy bought a sun ring and he took it in his bedroom and he got up in the morning and his daughter, who was the dealer, said, I'm taking this sun ring. And he grabs it from her, rips it from her literally, and says, absolutely you're not. And she says, what's the problem? He goes, I had the best sleep of my entire life and you're going to take this away? He says, go buy yourself another one. so so the rings work, but the magic is now the shungite program.
Because it's a fullerene, it's like a carbon atom that it contains, it holds all of that frequency.
It holds the consciousness.
Yes.
Correct there, because the consciousness, it contains the frequency, the vibration, and the resonance. So when you're doing your clearing, let's say you're going to do a clearing on that zinc, you need to address all three. So what I'll do is I'll say, okay, the zinc is the frequency is only here when it should be higher. So I'll give it some frequency. Focus on pure zinc frequency, and that'll raise it up a bit. Then I'll do vibration, and then I'll do resonance, and then I'll go back and start at frequency again. Because when you do all three of them kind of together, you move way faster. It's a way more efficient way to get that purity in the element.
Wonderful. My wife is calling me for breakfast.
All right.
I'm going to
Yep.
let you go and I'm going to go charge my food with these. Wayne, it's been a
Okay.
pleasure as always.
Yes. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, Chris Kaler here, Chris Kaler Holistic, chriskaler.net. All these tools are on there. Feel free, send an email, ask me questions. Wayne and I talk all the time. We'll be happy to help you out. Anyways, this is Chris Kaler and Wayne Gaydos. We're out of here.
Thank you.